Today we're going to be talking about how to correctly price your work. Now I'm going to specifically be talking about video work, but this will also apply to any other creative field that is out there. I hope you enjoy the video. Of course they're going to enjoy the video. Of course they're going to enjoy the wind on my face. Alright, so to break this down easily, I have broken down the process of pricing into 4 major categories. We have understanding value, we have market matters, don't be desperate, and please add profit and gear. And also, if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to leave a like and comment. Let's get into it. So understanding value. Understanding value is probably the most important thing, or one of the most important things that you must get down first to build a basis for pricing your projects correctly. It's really easy to understand value from our own perspective because we intrinsically place value on everything around us automatically. But when pricing, we need to actually understand value from the perspective of our client or our buyer. For example, you're about to work on a wedding video and you come to pricing it and you sit down and you go, okay, I'm gonna price this £1,000, and you think that's pretty mad. I would never pay £1,000 for this video. It was, it was easy for you to shoot. It's mad, I wouldn't pay this much money. And yeah, you're probably right, you wouldn't pay this much money. I mean, you'd probably rather spend that money on a nice Sigma 18-35 T2 Cine lens. Yeah, me too. But the thing is, the video is not being made for you, it's being made for the client. And the client has a different perspective of value on your product than you do. They're spending 25k on the rest of their wedding, so 4% or 1k of that price for their wedding video, their video which is gonna last forever, it's gonna let them relive this magical day. I think spending 4% of your budget for something like this is extremely worth it, and it makes sense, it makes perfect sense. So you see, from our point of view, yeah, we wouldn't want to spend 1,000 on that, but from their point of view, it's not that much money for what it actually is. So you just have to figure out how much value things are worth to different clients and different people. Price your work on how valuable it is to the buyer or the client, and not how valuable you perceive your work to be. Don't be desperate. You cannot price correctly when you're in the mindset of, I need this money. That's just how you appear needy and desperate. And if you appear desperate and needy, you're going to get taken advantage of. It's quite easy to see when someone is needy and needs money, isn't it? It's quite easy to see that. And when you can see that, you can quite easily negotiate them down because they'll be willing to do anything just to get a quick bit of money. And, when you're needy and desperate to your clients, it's the first and it's the easiest way to get exploited for your services. So make sure you're not needy, make sure you're not desperate. The buyer's budget should always adjust to you. You should never adjust to the buyer's budget. If the buyer can't pay that much money, then simply don't do the service. You don't need this money. But that doesn't mean that you can't adjust your offerable to match their budget. You can offer less services if they can't pay as much. So say if you've got a project that's normally worth 1k and they only have 500 budget, well, you can offer less to them to match their £500 budget, because you can still work with them, but just don't do the same amount of work you do for the 1k budget for only 500. That just doesn't make sense. The market matters. An easy way to actually see how much you should be charging for your projects is to look at what other people are charging. Obviously make sure they've watched this video first so they know what they're talking about. But this is actually a really good way to see how much you should be charging. Check what other people similar to you, doing similar services or offering similar services are charging in your area or in your country or wherever, just so you can get a rough baseline and compare your services. If you're making videos which are a lot better than them, or offering your services which are not as good as theirs, then adjust the price accordingly. And also, obviously, there are going to be some outliers, some people who, massively overcharge Apple, and people who do their services for free. So there's always going to be outliers, but you can always easily get a nice baseline by just searching. But in the same breath, don't always listen to the market. For example, don't listen to your friends or people who aren't actually in the market or understand the market, because they're going to have the wrong ideas about how much you should be charging for your services. It's the same way in that some people would buy expensive cars and jewellery, and other people think that's kind of stupid, because everybody has their own value for different things. And lastly, do not forget profit. This is the single difference between actually making money and just breaking even. Think of how much money you want to make at the end of the day, how much profit you want to make, and just add it onto the total cost. Every product and every item, every service sold on planet Earth has profit accounted into it. It's a normal thing to do. It's not like weird. You're meant to add profit into every service, and it makes sense. You want to come away with some profit after you've done the service. One last thing, do not forget to incorporate the price of gear into the final cost. A lot of people forget to do this, and it is quite important. For example, in videography terms, if you have a camera which is worth 1K, then you need to find out how much rental houses normally charge to rent this camera out. So for example, I own the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K, that costs around 1K, and rentals usually go from £70 to £100 per day. So when I charge for videos, I will need to add on £70 to £100 each day I'm shooting onto the total cost. Because obviously the gear costs me money, and it's going to cost you money. And if you're renting gear, of course you charge the client for the gear rentals. So yeah, just don't forget to add gear rentals into the final cost. And that is that. You should hopefully have a better understanding of pricing. It's going to take some trial and error. You're going to go through stages where you think you're overcharging too much and you get no clients, and when you're undercharging and you get so many clients. But you should hopefully have a better understanding of how you should go about pricing your videos. A lot of people don't tend to actually show how much they price, and just is because it completely depends on your circumstances, your situation, where you live, what service you're offering. So it all depends, but hopefully now you have a underlying understanding of how you should think about pricing when it comes to offering your services. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, if you found it helpful, if you found it useful, if you learned something hopefully, then feel free to leave a comment below. Feel free to like the video, and if you want to keep up with all my future videos, there's going to be videos daily from now on for the next month hopefully. Subscribe, and yeah, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Feel the cold wind on my face.